Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about Hunt for the Chimera, the upgrade raid. Um, I would have, I would have changed it to. Okay, I would have changed it to. I think they did this on purpose. It's going to pop up a couple of times throughout the show. So let me go ahead and introduce everybody from top to bottom. Still don't have Kenny yet, but hopefully he'll show up soon because he's an alpha. Aussie,
Good morning.
Ben,
Hello, everyone.
Lady Cat doesn't really have a voice tonight, but she's doing the slides for us. And hopefully Kenny will show up soon because we are all not going to start the raid for a couple hours. But let's go ahead and go to the slides. Fixed a bug with building multiple walls when a player has run out of resources. I'm glad they nailed that one down. Having people with no resources build a couple of extra wall pieces is really impact my game. Anybody else had that problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bigger problem that the enemy fleet's driving off the map, I guess.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So, also, lower penetrative mount. The intention of the lower penetrative mount in the high speed missile jets was to offer captains an interesting choice between two types of playstyles, each with its own place to shine. Following mass user play after the release, it's become apparent that the lowered penetrative mount has been a little less effective than we would have liked. As a result, we're increasing its defense bonuses to bring back in line with intended functionality. So they added 30 bonuses and they've upped the survival. They mention mass user play. And the only time that we had mass user play was a month ago during VXP weekend. Um, but they made the change right before the raid. Um, Anybody have any thoughts on that? Does it feel like they did that on purpose? Because they had a month to let us know about that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean, and if people looked at this prior to the change, they're going, "Oh no, it's crap. It hasn't got anything, to benefit my fleet or my ship." And they don't put it on there because of that reason. But now they go and add it in, and people might go, "Well, I would have put that on if that had been there a month ago."
Yeah.
So
And
where's our coins to refit?
or even our opportunity to test it to see how well we thought it worked in its reincarnation with this increased evade and increased survival. There hasn't even been, a chance to do that. So, like I said, certain feels like for certain things that I before have been like, oh well, they're new at this. This feels intentional. That they waited to the last minute to make this change and inform us of it. So, yeah, I'm not happy with some of the things that
All
have
about the coin, then, isn't it? People want to change it now, and they don't have tokens. They got to coin it.
happened. Okay. Massive user refer to people. Okay, the TLC to get the. Okay, these are people that already had um, them built. So I guess maybe that's what Damnation is saying. So I guess that makes some sense. And that was how many weeks was that? That was 2, 3 weeks ago. I'm not exactly sure when that was. No, it was the week after there. So it was 3 weeks ago when that happened because it was the week after the raid or the week they had VXP weekend and then they had the TLC that let everybody get everything else. Get the Pegasus, and a lot of the components associated with it. So, alrighty, let's move on. Whoops. Yeah, no, they've just piled a lot of stuff on us, Matt, this week or this last day or two. Right now, we're in the November raid, Hunt for the Chimera. Next week is 3 cycles of the FM, VXP weekend, and then Bounty, and then we assume Pillage is the following week. And every week I make this request that we make these calendars that come out during the CM Diary raid to raid and not based on the monthly calendar, which really has no real impact in the game as far as players trying to plan ahead ago. All right, well, let's move to the next one then. All right, Hunt for the Chimera begins today and ends Tuesday. Store closes 24 hours for the store. So all right, let's move on to the next one. All right. Alrighty, sorry about that. We have 2 new assault targets, no X this week or this month, and 3 new experimental CICs, which we will get into. And then the Pegasus experimental hull upgrade, along with the 2 for the other ones. Yada yada yada. The interceptors we're not getting into because why do we need? We already get this will be the 6th one, 7th one, whatever. So, any thoughts on this before we get in? We're going to get in details on all of this except for the interceptors. Does anybody have any interceptor thoughts? Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. All right. This is where it starts to get tricky. There's 2 S-target turrets, and we don't have any experience with them yet. One is called the Turin target. One's called the Nessus target. They each give you $250,000 with a $500,000 bonus. And they drop a torpedo shard for not next month's raid, but the following month's raid when we switch back over to skirmish. And I think everybody, at least me, ran on the assumption when we saw 2 targets in the VXP weekend that one of them was like an auto target and the other one was a driving target. Now we see that one is intended for one CIC and the other one's intended for the other CIC. And we didn't get any real hint of this until
last night.
Yeah, yeah.
And with this, it brings up the Mana Corps again. 2 fleets of the same hull to do the raid instead of one fleet like they've been promoting.
Yeah, and this is the first time we had any indication this was happening. Like we said, I think everybody just assumed one was an auto target and the other one was not. So if this had been communicated earlier, I think the players wouldn't have liked it either, but this just feels dirty to me. So I don't know why it couldn't be communicated earlier. Do they not know? I assume they knew when they walked into this, because still looking at some of these CICs, they appear like they're supposed to be mixed together, not driven separately because of all the bonuses that offset each other. So, and we got the A targets, B targets. Let's click one more click. All right. Kickside Chris has commented on this. We've been pretty clear from the jump that we don't expect people to build the full 2 fleets within the season. We do expect players to build about one. I don't know what that means. I mean, one or, but two fleets is for those who want to invest enough to get maximum efficiency. If you're trying to build two fleets for free, it'll take you a bit longer than Uh, we'll get into how much longer once we get into how much the upgrades cost and whatnot. As Biggins mentioned, you're fine with one, same as the last two hull cycles. This is not the same.
No.
They have created two distinct targets that provide advantage to one CIC versus the other, and it's also 14 hours to refit them. Yes, well, obviously we want to incentivize people to complete both fleets. If there's zero reason to do so, then no one will. Is it required for success? No. Does it make your life better? Yes. So this is, this is just dirty and backhanded and done at the last fucking minute. This is just not good. People that have purchased stuff or based on the information that was provided by Kicksai are going to be quite upset about the fact that the rug's been pulled out from underneath them. So you're going to get a lot of people that coin stuff. They're going to be really upset with you and just fucking shut it down. I don't understand why you've gone this method of just hiding stuff from players. This is not, it's not good. It's not good. It's not smart. You're breaking trust with the player base, and I don't know why you've chosen to do it at this point in time. After you told us that we were going to one fleet, this two fleet thing is not going to happen again. And you just put a whole middle finger up to the whole player base with this kind of bullshit. Thoughts?
I agree.
I bet they make good proctologists.
Yes.
Most players, a lot of players aren't going to coin, and so they're screwed either way.
But the people that were willing to coin some of it are now you're asking them to coin two fleets because you still had to coin to get one fleet. Who's it? Besides, I know you got leaderboard tokens, but who is not coined to have everything at U3? So if either you were in the top of the leaderboard and got these tokens, and you're at U3, or you coin. There's no way, especially with the flag. There's no way you're at U3 and you didn't coin it unless you were the top of some leaderboard. So some people might have been willing to do that, but now you're asking them to coin a whole other fleet on top of it. So it's just, I don't know. Go ahead, Ben.
It's just blatant this time.
Yeah.
And I bought the 1999 deal for the tokens and the build tokens and that. I was able to get to U2 on my fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make it, you need U4 now. That's just wrong.
Yeah. Well, we knew the U4 part was coming. We didn't know, and nobody liked the U4. But now we got a U4 and two fleets.
Yeah.
And it's all upgrades,
Yeah. So. And now it's not, you just need two fleets. You need two fleets upgraded to U4. Which is what, another 60 days for the fleet?
Yeah. It's like 34. It's like 34 days for the upgrades on one fleet. So yeah, it's going to be 70 days, almost 70 days for two.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we are with them, and we'll see how people are yeah, see how people are doing. Hopefully, Jeff shows up and we can see, because I'm pretty sure well, there's Jeff's driving, and then there's the issue of I'm pretty sure he has two of each CIC. So we'll see how he performs in the target. And then people can chime in on how people are going with one CIC versus another. So I don't know. All right, let's move on. Um, Again, we did not get a strategy guide for this upcoming raid cycle until after it already started in alpha. Did they not know what the targets were before? It's maddening. Like, this should have been released 3 weeks ago. I mean, players don't like to build blind and realize with the information that they were given that this is a strategy game, right? And all the strategy is gone because they don't give us any information until it's too fucking late. I mean, I guess we could have, just hit the targets and figured all this out. But yeah, it's players like to take the information and then form their builds from it, not get all this shit thrown at them at the last minute and make their decisions on what they're building, what they're purchasing, the rest of it. I, this is not the way you do it. I mean, that's the way they're doing it, and they're running it as a business, I guess. But it's not. In my opinion, it doesn't lead to trust with the player base. Um, because they knew this stuff. They knew these targets. They at least knew what was in them, if not the final design of them. So codename 30, which I guess is the Nessus one. Um, it lacks the fog cutter missile system. We saw this in one of the VXP targets, but again, everybody thought it was auto versus driven, like what they did in the previous raid cycle. And then we got another one, yeah. Both S targets can be completed with both CICs. The 130 is tactically suited to the Nessus CIC, and the 132 is suited to the Turin CIC. Yada, yada, yada. All right, let's go to the next one, unless you got any thoughts on this one. Okay, the Fog Cutter missile. This is the one that the new weapon called Fog Cutter is a new Legion long-range missile. Allows them to see into the clouds, but limits their field of fire. Missiles themselves are slow, but will deal significant damage to any unfortunate captain who finds themselves slow enough to be in their splash zone. Keep moving. Okay, and it's penetrating damage. Studio? I don't know. Test Studio? I didn't look that up. Did anybody know what that means?
No.
Yeah. High damage mid-range missile. They're a huge threat to our fleets and should be taken out quickly. What we saw in the VXP is they fired a salvo of 3 and penetrating damage. Modified Tempest launcher is corrosive. And the Tempest is radioactive in our bases. Yeah, whatever. So let's move on. All right, the Cerberus. Whoops, nope. The Cerberus is a countermeasure in the VXP targets, which is all we've seen at this point. It wasn't highly effective. You could overwhelm them quite easily. And let's see what the next one is. Daggertooth. We've seen these before. But I guess they're not firing missile or torpedoes at this point. And they only do corrosive through some sort of depth charge, whatever type of thing. Let's move on. Viperfish also just as corrosive. Let's go on. Penetrating. Okay, we've seen these quite before in the last one, and I repeated that one. I guess maybe I missed one, but let's. And Your scientists have worked around the clock. These are the experimental assault CICs, which we'll get into in a minute. They can only be, you do not need to win them. You just need to get your ships to X1/U4, dealing high damage to a single ship. The studio turrets are capable of pick off your ships one by one. This reduces your attacking fleet's firepower and removes one of the shared survival auras, making it easier to take down the next hull. In response to this, your team has developed the Nessus, the X-Class technology encrypts, they basically, they health share. Um, and I didn't drop whatever letter. Fed by your leadership? You want to guess? It was an F at the beginning of the next paragraph, right? Um, you didn't stop there. Your team has leveraged the War Pegasus frame to develop a battle bridge of masterful function and form. The new bridge, dubbed the Percy CIC, augments and shelters the whole fleet. Wield the technology, da 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 da. We'll get into more detail on these as we go through them. All right, let's see what's next. All right, this is the only one that seems to make a lot of sense. Um, it requires a 10-day upgrade time, 10-day, 4 hours. There are 10 days of tokens available in the raid. It requires 80 kits, and it provides, an aura of 1300, 13,600 survival for both corrosive and penetrative, and yeah, it gives you some, what else you have on your fleet, some crazy projectile speed. So, all right, now we know what the test studio is. So, any thoughts on this one? Besides the 10-day, 4 hours, it's this one makes sense to put on your ship.
Yeah, I was going to say this one actually does make sense. The other two,
Yeah,
and
we'll
maybe.
get into those ones, but yeah. But yeah, this is besides the 10 days, um, it adds a lot, and there's a fair amount that's added through the upgrades from U1 to U3 and this is again only for the War Pegasus, only for the flag. All right, let's move on if nobody else has anything else on that. All right, the Turn X CIC is the ship that has this one on it will provide 80,000 armor points every 4 seconds um, to fleets that are below 50% health. That's the only difference between this one and the normal Turin. This is comes in at the surprisingly reasonable cost of 6 days, 19 hours. Times 4, we're looking at 27 days for the 4 of them that you have. Um, a lot of people, and this also provides it to the War Pegasus. So these are the ships giving, not receiving. So the ships that have these on can provide the health. You don't need to have this for them to receive the health, as far as my understanding. The problem I see with this, if they are forced to give the points to the War Pegasus, the War Pegasus has 8 million armor, while the normal Pegasus has 5. They both repair in 3 hours. So what's going to happen is you're taking 5 million points, donating it to a 8 million armor ship, So it's more costly to give them away than it would be. Normally when we had health giving ships, it was the opposite way around. Those ships had higher armor, and so therefore the repair efficiency, as we used to call it, was beneficial for you to do this. Now you are taking a more expensive repair and forcing it to the cheaper repair. And this is the same with both the Turin X and the Nessus X. Those are the only two differences. So, any thoughts on these?
The only difference is usually that's normally built into the ship. You don't usually have to put it on as a CIC, except for the reconstruction matrix, which you could put on whatever fleet you wanted, whatever ship you wanted.
There was the Mercy CIC, which I think went on the Manicore.
Yeah, but you usually put that on the flag.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I was just saying it wasn't necessarily built in.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you're saying, if you put it on any other ship, that's going to die.
Yeah.
That one ship's going to die a lot quicker than the rest because it's going to transfer health to all of them.
Yeah. And I don't, we had some issues, and I'm assuming that they've fixed them, where you had different older healing ships that were like Defender, and they would all give each other health until they died because the transfer efficiency wasn't 100%. There's no efficiency number here. So I'm assuming they're just going to transfer around the health, because before some of these things had 70, 80%. So they would be giving each other health, and then they would just die because they were just losing it in transactional costs.
Yeah, well, like you're saying with that CIC for the Hydras, the Blood Hydra on mine, I'm just having a quick look, is nearly 23 million armor points. Mm-hmm. Compared to my normal Hydra that's only got 8 million. So it's nearly three times as much armor.
Yep.
Where these have only got what? 300,000, 3 million more. It's ridiculous.
No, but you're missing the point. These can only be put on the ones with 3 million. I'm sorry, with 5 million. And it's most likely going to feed the one that has 8 million.
Oh, it can't go on the...
No, it can't. No.
Okay. Well, that's even worse then.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. With the Hydras, for instance, it's got 22 million, nearly 23 million armor points compared to the rest that only had 8. So it's going to, even if it drains it, it's going to take a long time to drain it.
Yeah.
Where this is going to be drained real quick.
Yeah. It's like I said before, the ships with the less armor are feeding the ones most likely with more armor, because the changes they made to the mechanics of the flagship, and having ships stacked, which doesn't feel as accidental as it was before. That they made that change. It all feels very purposeful and dirty at this point in time. So, but again, I haven't seen the targets yet, and I wonder where Kenny is. We needed somebody out there to. I don't know where he is. So, take a look at these targets for us. CAC costs time because you only have 2 armor slots. So, yeah, had to be picked up somewhere. And I do understand that. The only issue I see associated with that is we were uninformed on these until the day, the night before the raid, less than 24 hours before the raid is when we were informed of the differences in the targets. So, okay. Let's move on, see what else good things we have. All right. Now we have upgrades to the Praetorians. And I don't necessarily, for a lot of people, I don't think this is the first place that you need to go. It already has 50 million armor points, so it's adding 2.2 million. Okay, it's nice. Projectile speed 25%. Um, Penetrated survival of 6,800 in the table down below on the left. In the first column, it's a Praetorian with the. I just use this because most people are running the Pen Sync drive. So we get 44, 480 for explosive, 5701 for the missile survival, penetrative survival, and and then we look at the flag plus blank ships and how much that adds. So it adds basically it's adding about 5.5 thousand, 5,500. And then we have the Galea system, which is adding, I forget the exact number, but a little over around two. And then we add, and we see like on the percent increases per each bump. So the first one is adding 121% to your survival, 16.13 for the Galea system. And then if you add three each of each armor, we're up to 130% or 117% increase, but it's still adding 15,000 survival to your ships. And now we see this U2, and it's adding 6,800, which is a 25% bump or a 24.5, depending, if the pen sync drive sort of changes the percent increase for each one. Um, it's not it's not going to make or break you, in my opinion. So, and then there's U3. One more click. I'm comparing the U3. So the spread of negative 50%, I'm not completely sold on that because we have to see the targets, but it's going to concentrate your fire significantly. So if you were splashing out other targets, you might not be splashing them out anymore. Your fire is constrained in a smaller space. Um, it really depends on what the targets we see in the future. But I was going to compare it to just one. The rest of it is a countermeasure system that is built into the hull, which is impacted by the specials. But I was just wanted to compare it to the just one Gale 4, and it feels basically like that's a replacement. The Gale 4 has a salvo of 8, while the U3 has a salvo of 4, so it's going to fire twice as many every 0.2 seconds. Reload time of 6 on the U3, a 5.36 on the Gale, sort of a wash. Accuracy is 80%, which is a boost over 50%. And they both counter mortars. It's sort of between the salvo difference and the accuracy difference. In a normal target, it comes close to a wash. It really depends on the projectile speed of the mortars that are firing at us. If they get more than one shot off, then it's basically even. But if they have a high projectile speed mortar that's coming at us, then I could see this being advantageous. But if they are a wash, this allows you to take a Gale off and put something else on, in my mind. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, we have to wait until we see the targets to see if there's going to be more mortars coming in.
Yeah. And for me on my Praetorian build, I'm only running one of Gale 4 on each ship, so
Yeah, same as me. Yeah,
I
and they
can't
don't
really-
shoot them all down.
yeah, and I can't really pull that off. You know,
So this might actually be a benefit to leave your Gale 4 on, and see how it goes first off, and then maybe take one off at a time to see if it makes a difference.
yeah,
See if you can still shoot them down. But then, like I say, it just depends. And Jeff FA said, depends on the new targets.
Yeah, and it also depends. These are going to be expensive in regards to time. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are
Mm.
probably upset about these, and that's sort of I looked at it as they're not going to make that big of a difference. This is one of those ones where I feel like a little bit they say they don't tune to upgrades, and I think that I have a hard time believing that because they tune it. They're not going to allow a U3 ship to just tear through their targets damage free. So
Right.
they do tune to them. They keep on saying it, but how can we believe that? They're like, oh, we're not tuning towards them. Yeah, you are. I mean, there's no way they're not. If some of these U3s just rip through their targets, I don't see that happening. I just honestly don't.
Right.
So,
I,
I mean, they keep on saying it, and they've got most people in Discord believing it, but there's no way that's true. I mean, if they not, I don't know. I'm just sort of frustrated with what they've done in the last couple of days. So
I mean, how can they say they don't tune to the upgrades where if you're upgraded, you take less damage, where if you're not upgraded, you're screwed?
well, yeah, that was one of the things I mentioned to Half Centaur when he was on Discord today. It's like the players and Kixeye have a different opinion of what is success in a target. And the players, after seeing the U3 upgrades, feel like this is what we need, while they think, U0 is what you need, maybe twice as much damage or whatnot. Um, yeah. Um, it's just a matter of, if they put out, we expect you for this target to take 2 hours and 45 minutes of damage. And that's what you're supposed to take. And the player's like, no, I only want to take 38 minutes of damage. So maybe that, at U3, then you get to the 38 minutes of damage or whatever number it might be. But, when they say that, yeah, it's tricky because they don't provide the numbers as far as what their expectations are as far as damage are is. So,
Well,
but what I'm saying that this is lower priority, I think, and I would, for the players that don't have the armors on their ships, I would spend your time there. They're only 8 hours each, and they provide a lot more benefit. So,
yeah,
alrighty. Um,
I don't know.
Anything else on this one? I'm not sure how many more we got. This might be the last one. Oh, limited weapon for the next cycle. Um, this is in the S set targets. I'm assuming you can get one or two for completion of each target. You need 8. Um, and it's been so long since that we've had a torpedo. I didn't even want to compare it to anything. Um, and when they put the Piranha 4 out there and wrote can fire while submerged, they dropped because that's not a underwater weapon. They dropped the term underwater weapon, which is important because the underwater weapon can only be fitted on a weapon slot that says underwater on it. It can't fit on the standard one, which was the Piranha 4 could. But because the lurker, this probably more confusing, but than it needs to be. But it's it's basically just a straight up underwater weapon. You can't equip it to a surface slot, which it implies by not saying it's an underwater weapon. Armor is Okay. All right. 12 and a half hours. Okay. Mine's, with all my bonuses, I'm around 8 for the new armor, the isotope, Xinthium isotope armors. So, so I don't know. I think this is probably definitely the last slide, is it? I guess I didn't put end of slides in, though, did I? Yeah, yeah. Go back. Go back. This is an old slide. So, any thoughts?
Mm, it's not looking good, but we'll see in a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
This,
Is there anything anybody wants to go back and revisit? I'm gonna put the link up there in case anybody would like to join. And especially anybody in Alpha that want to tour us through a target, because, like I said, it's, or even Beta now. Yeah, next skirmish is also 8.5. We're gonna go through each one of them, but that's the last 8.5. So yeah.
yeah.
So, anybody have any thoughts on anything we've already? Yeah, it is interesting. It's happened many times before, and the only thing you could really shoot down was like oil rigs and things like that. But it's been it's been out there for a while. It does sound silly.
Yeah, but sometimes they put, in some of the targets, they'll go stick an oil rig or something out in the middle of nowhere, into a TLC or whatever.
Yeah, or like a portal, or there's different
Yeah.
ways it can be used.
Yeah.
So, I guess if nobody wants to join, and everybody's running out of things to say, I've said plenty. If you're talking about the underwater, no, they cut and paste stats. No, they changed all of them when they quote unquote fixed the Piranha 4 issue. So, so yeah, it wasn't custom cut and paste. It was, we're going to change everything and not realize what we changed. Hey, hi, Lord.
Do they ever?
Hi, Lord. Ain't heard from him in forever.
Yeah.
He doesn't unmute himself.
How's it going, guys? Can you hear me?
Work release. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah, just dandy. Were you listening to the show?
A little bit, yeah. I was just trying to get some input on maybe trying to see if I have anything I can use to get some points, to get some enjoyment, but it's not looking that way, but we'll see how it goes. I see it's 6 days, so maybe I can find something in there to do.
Yeah. Bladed Pinion missiles and Razor Plume, 20 redemptions of the Bladed Pinion has been added to the store. So
Yeah, actually, that was the thing I did see, that they didn't have those. Okay, so thank you for that. Didn't know they had them.
yeah, well, they added them because most of the time when they do that, they do it based on shard drops. And I look for them, but I wasn't surprised they weren't there. So
Okay, that's good.
no, I didn't do a slide for what exactly changed, but we went through it as far as the addition of evade and then the increase in survival I think it was 30% evade was added, and I think it went from 8K to 15K, something close to that. Alrighty. Well, if nobody has anything left, I guess we can move on. Probably nobody wants me talking much more tonight. So, last chance if anybody wants to jump in. And all right. Well, good night, everybody, and we'll see you on Friday when we have much more information on the targets and see if there's any more information that Kicksite puts out regarding these targets. Up, up.
The- the- what-
Hey, Brian.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
hey, there's a
Brian.
spot.
Yeah.
It does the yeah, yeah. I
We
have,
nearly got out of it.
yeah,
Nearly.
yeah.
Nearly made it.
Oh, hey, I came in just in time for some numbers. We take those.
Okay. So go ahead. Whatever you had. Were you listening to the show at all, or no? You were working.
No, I just got on my break. I'm just sad that there's these new super CICs that we have to upgrade to this previously unknown level of existence. I want to do some math on whether it's better for your repair to have all of your ships with that extra 13.6k survival versus having the health transfer, because the armor for the flag is a little better, sure, but I'm not sure it's that much better.
Lady Cat, can you go back to that slide? Go back to the slides with the.
You might have already done this math.
Yeah, because there's really the CIC slides, the new CIC slides. All right, okay. These are the differences between them. The the survival is still there on both of them. The only changes they put in was the survival mechanism. Unless you're seeing something I'm not seeing.
I'm not sure. I feel like I saw a third one. Yeah, they put in the health. They put in the health transfer, and everything else is the same. But wasn't there a third one that they put out, or did
that can only go on the flag? Go two back, if you could, Lady Cat.
it's weird because it looked like what it was, right? Yeah, it's weird because I'm seeing that bottom part there, and it looks like I wasn't sure if that was what it was because it looked like the flagship aura itself. But nope, I'm thinking about, is that better for your repair to boost the survival?
But this one
versus
does not include health transfer. This one
yeah,
goes on the flag. The other ones only go on the normal Pegasus that are at X1/U4. So they're not interchangeable.
The normal Pegasus have X1s now?
Yeah. Yeah, they all do.
Oh my.
Everything.
Oh my God! Why?
Everything goes to U4 now, basically.
Yeah, Two Doors. You should listen to the rest of the
I've had it.
Did you watch the show?
No, I just got on. I had a
Apparently
terrible week. No, yeah. Oh God! Of all the hands. Well, never mind then. I don't.
Yeah.
Why?
You'll see me the angriest you've seen me in years on the show if you go back.
Oh man, this is great. I'm gonna make some popcorn when I get home. This is gonna be great.
Yes.
I thought it was for the flag because otherwise it makes no sense. It's incredibly stupid, and they did it. Good job.
Oh yeah.
and this, I'm sorry, and this, along with the last minute changes to the lowered penetrative mount, or whichever one that gives a survival that lowers your speed, we put 7k more survival on because nobody is using it, even though almost no one had the ability to test it properly. It's like, wow, thanks guys.
Yeah. You should listen to it. Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm probably stating a lot of things that you already said, but it's like they're really showing that they all this incompetence, and they didn't design a new ship especially for the cycle, like the suppressor or the scoundrel, which means that's dev time they saved. They saved dev time and still came out with this hot garbage. And I would be storing a lot more, but I am at work right now.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
with what's going on here in the last 24 to 36 hours. It's a lot. It's not right. So, I went through it. I was angry and I wore myself out early in the show. So Liga liked it. So I'm sure you'll get a kick out of it. So, hey Simba.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, just dandy. And yourself?
I'm doing great. All right. What I was talking about is you can prep the 130s and the 132s for somebody when they
Mhm.
have the nemesis. You leave one building for them to kill. The eradicators don't work, just the NEMs. We tested both. And in the 132s, you have to leave one of the, not the heavy turrets, but one of the other ones. I know I say it wrong, but I don't care. You just leave a little bit of life left on it. They pinch it and come in. They do get a little bit of damage, but they get the set bonus.
Mhm.
But it's a good thing to help the lower players.
But all these ships are allowed to go into the 132s, the higher.
Just the nemesis.
Okay, the Nemesis. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's tier 8. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was
That's
unaware.
good.
Huh.
I was unaware because, like I said, I don't know where.
We just figured it out by some experimenting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh, great.
awesome.
You watch.
I appreciate you doing that, but it's going to be shut down in like fucking an hour.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, now Kickside knows it'll be gone in like 5 minutes.
It wasn't last raid cycle.
Well, if prepping is charged for, that means gold has to be inserted into the economy where it otherwise might not be. So they might actually be making money off of that decision. It might be good for them to do that. I think it's great if they keep last cycle's tech available to be used in the top targets, because it's not going to work normally. But for prepping like that, if someone's been away for a while, and if they don't get a returning fleet of pretty good tech, if they get last raid's tech and that's all they have, then that's something at least.
It gives some advantage to the lower players, and they can actually catch up.
Nice.
It's definitely a bonus if it sticks, because I need it. I mean, I don't know about lower players. I'm 130 and I stopped at the Dragoon. I never finished those, so I'm done chasing shit. But I would like to have some fun, and I put a lot of years in this game. I still enjoy it. It's too much BS these days, and it's sad.
Well, I enjoy this game immensely, so I'm here for the socializing.
Okay.
You watch. This is going to be a lady cat situation all over again.
A what? Nah.
Oh, Hefe knows what I mean.
I'm here for
They'll shut it down.
Yes.
Sorry, lady cat.
So,
Or she found out after, and like me, and I found out after, and everybody already got their points. We're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, she was at work. She was she was asleep, and then she went to work. And by the time she came home from work, her whole alley had got all the points, and she still had 0. Not funny, but she was not happy.
no, yeah. With the as I like to call it, Ben's exploit.
Yeah. I did pretty well on that. That was.
It's
I liked
Ben's
it.
that
I can't
thing.
even remember what it was, but yeah, I did that.
Yeah. I think you got like 80 million by the time I was 180 million by the time I woke up. Yeah.
not an expert.
Yeah, I blew through that one.
Are we gonna have to put the definition of exploit up on the screen again?
Oh no.
Okay.
Not for me. I know what. I know now. Yeah. It's fine.
Okay. All right. I don't know. It's yeah. I'm not. I've gone through a lot. So if any, on the show. So if anybody has anything they want to say, go ahead.
I mildly apologize for taking us off topic to basically repeat other people's points, but I hadn't seen the show. Did we talk about the torpedo already?
We can go back to it. Yeah. If you have a hot take on the torpedoes, I'm.
We
Yeah,
can go forward, whichever way.
we can go forward. Yeah.
No, just something I noticed when I was looking at the numbers. This
Slides.
has this.
Torpedo.
I
Thank you.
don't need a bit of a nice.
Building wall damage.
No.
Here we go.
Salvo 2.
Yep.
It's been a while since we had something like that, so I wonder if maybe the enemy is going to be armed with cormorants, and the Salvo of 2 is going to help us overcome that, because I don't see a real good reason for torpedoes to fire in salvos necessarily.
That was a good catch. Good catch, bro.
Let's see. I'm wondering if it's concussive reload or torpedo reload, I'm not sure what we have as far as specials, because you take the reload time of 3 and you skull it, you're already at 0.75. Um, I'll have
It
to look.
usually says concussive, so it usually covers everything. Continue.
But I'm saying I'm not sure what other reload specials we might have. The other thing is they might be trying to actually slow us down with the salvo. If you're following me, but it would have to be a pretty big bonus because the reload time at 3 is pretty short for a torpedo, don't you think?
I think ACPs gave us some. It was something, but it was small. It was like a 40%, and we also don't know what's going to be on the hull. It might have a 200% torp reload bonus for all we know. But yeah, it just seemed odd, unless they're going to be shooting it down. But this should be way stronger than the other ones anyway, so there shouldn't be a need to. Ooh, 88. But wait, so are we going back to subs again?
That's the assumption. Yeah. I mean, because we're going to have, I think it's the last of the 8.5s will be skirmish. So that'll be not next raid, but the following raid will be back to skirmish. And whatever you do with what's going on right now, it will be secondary as far as what you're doing with your assault fleets. So
this seems very, very, very advanced in the line of giving this to us for a torpedo. What the fuck, dude? Like the silverfish aren't even in the raid, and we don't even need this. But it's like way like right now, like what? I don't get it.
But they've been doing this. They've been doing this for the last 3 raids or 3 raid cycles or two raid cycles, where it drops shards for future raid cycles. So to force you to encourage you to hit the highest end targets and not grind away on lower end targets, because this allows you to get the next generation of weapon that's coming out in a couple of months. So that's the reason. I think that's the reason. Is it? And Cuttlefish says more powerful than the Lurker's torp, but you remember they wouldn't let you put eradicators in your base anymore because they owned everybody. So, but yeah, this won't only goes on skirmish. It's not can't put it on conquerors or defenders or whatnot.
I'll tell you, if the skirmish cycle is where we use subs, the 10% health to relaunch a sub will be gone. They'll fix it, so it's got to be full health again.
Oh, okay. Well, I say they learned, but they probably hadn't, because back in the day there was a bug, and it's still around in the game. It just doesn't matter as much anymore, where your ship could have 0 seconds worth of damage, and when that happened on a sub, even after you repaired it, you could not launch it. So, like, I had to do the raid with 1 ship because 2 of my other ships could not launch because they had this bug. So they're hopefully not going to do that one again. Maybe they'll have a surface ship that like fires torpedoes or something where it's like how we had the suppressor, where after you move for a certain amount of time it goes deep, but you can't fire. But then even if you just pop into normal, like not deep dive, you still fire your torps. But if everything had a thermal of like 1,000, it doesn't matter. So you'd have to maneuver in and around and get into the right spot to fire, and then get out the fire, get it killed, and then dash away again. I liked that. Admittedly, it was very short and not a whole target, but it was a fun style of gameplay. Able to do that again.
Okay. So, are you sharing something, Simba?
Yeah, I've got the one person I'm prepping for in a target right now with the Nemesis.
Okay. There you go.
What kind of damage are you taking in these, Simba?
I have a grease monkey on right now. 2 coin for a 130 and 3 coin for a 132.
All right.
So it is. It only appears to be the nemesis.
Only the nemesis. She was unable to come in with the eradicators. She even
What about
tried
Saturn?
Manticores. Wouldn't work.
Saturn's is the other ship.
I don't think she has it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well, that's why the
okay.
eradicators wouldn't go in. It's not.
Yeah, because they're both
It's not
assault.
assault.
So.
Are they both
Yeah,
assault?
yeah, yeah.
Aren't they?
Well, the assault, the Nemesis and the Saturn are assault. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's trying to go in with
The
the eradicators.
Eradicator is siege, and yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I won't go in because it's an assault target.
yeah. And I guess they're tier 8, so yeah. No, it's all good. There's no way they can. There's no way. Everybody's saying they can stop this, but they're tier 8, so they're allowed in. Unless
Yeah,
they.
but there again, they'll come up with their old saying is it's their game, though, and it can be changed at any moment.
Yeah, but 8.5 or I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what they'll say? Oh, that it wasn't recommended for that, so we've got to fix it now.
I feel like that the fix for that is literally just changing a value in the target's properties to make it 8.5.
But why is it? It's not going to get nerfed. It's basically just allowing people. Yeah, it's not. It's an exploit, yes, but my version of the exploit, not Ben's version of the exploit. This means you're taking, you're harvesting crops, basically. Things that are out there that are available.
Well, I don't see why you can't use them. Why not?
There's no reason.
You should be able to take any assault ship in there. It might die straight away on the first volley, but you should be able to take any assault fleet in there.
You're able to, with the Dragoons, you're able to take the, I think it was the Eradicators you were able to take in for the preps.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, though, whatever class target is, you should be able to take any ship in there you want. Any of that class.
Well, especially if there's the same class and the same tier. Because tier 8, tier 8.5, till they get to 9, they're all considered the same thing. So, So, as long as you're all at tier 8 point whatever, it's all good. So, I don't think they're going to get rid of that. I would have, I don't see how they would justify it because they haven't done it in the past. So. But it's great for players that are trying to catch up and people that are willing to help them. So, alrighty. Anybody else have much else? Lady Cat, you wanted back in, but you haven't said anything. So, okay. Well, she messaged that she wanted back up, but she hasn't been talking. So, alrighty.
I think that was a while ago.
Yeah, well, I added her back a while ago, but she hasn't talked since, so I wasn't sure. Maybe she just wanted me to get rid of High Lord Knight and put him back in the green room. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can drop. I'm done talking. I'll drop and let someone else back in.
No, you're reviewing. You finished reviewing.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to drop. We have plenty. We have plenty of spots at this point. I'm just saying, is there anything that you want to bring up before I end the show? Is there anything more that you want to talk about?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, because everybody's added in that wants to be added in.
I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go because I got stuff going on here. Have a good one. Enjoy the raid if you can. And
all righty.
All right. Thank you.
Success to everyone except Kickseye.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
There you go. Yeah, Lady Cat can come back in. Oh, there she is.
She's already been in for like 20 minutes. That's why I'm asking her if she wants to say
She
anything.
hasn't said anything. Okay, yeah, I didn't see it down the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom there. So.
Alrighty. Well, if nobody has much else to say, we can continue on and go to the after show and see y'all on Friday when, like I said, when we know more. And I posted the link in case anybody'd like to join the after show. And again, remember it's a rotating thing. It's only if I'm interested in rotating. So whatever that
She
might
said.
mean. So we will see y'all on Friday. Later, people.
Bye.
Not everybody.
Hey, have a good one.